Who would be the strongest candidate among the Republicans who are now looking at a race?
I don't think we know the answer to that. I mean, that's one of the great benefits of the process, is because the process is such it tests you so much in the course of the process. And some candidates you thought were going to be great failed badly, and some that you thought, well, they're definitely weak. And they succeed, and they show some. Bill Clinton in 1991. I mean, he was a nobody from Arkansas. Nobody thought, well, he had given a horrible speech
at '88
in the '88 convention. He mocked horrible speech.
Yeah.
And he emerges as obviously a great candidate. So you don't ever know.
Well, I'm thinking Howard Dean in '04 overperformed. Mike Huckabee in '08. Overperformed. Somebody always overperforms.
Yeah, and so I don't think you know. I think you know some of the candidates that are probably not going to do well, as some that you've mentioned in the general election. Yeah. Though both of those candidates, I think, have a great fervor among certain elements of the Republican Party. Right. I just think we don't know yet. Yeah. I don't think you can say Mitt Romney. You can't say there's a favorite when the top favorite gets 21% of the vote.
All your former Bush campaign colleagues love Mitch Daniels, the governor of Indiana. Are you as enamored of Daniels as they are?
No.
Why?
I'm not enamored as. Well, first of all, I'm trying to keep myself from any more being too enamored with anybody.
Right. Hasn't gone well so far.
I've fallen in love
yeah.
a few times.
You fall out of love then. Yeah.
No, right. Then you get hurt.
Well,
and all that stuff happens.
Fall in like. I want you to fall in like with one of these guys.
Somebody doesn't put the cap on the toothpaste.
Yeah.
Leaves the dirty clothes on the floor.
That's Mitch Daniels' problem. He won't put the cap on the toothpaste.
I think that he obviously has performed well as governor of Indiana. I think the problem is that if you're going to it's hard for the guy that was in charge of the budget for Bush that got totally out of control to make a budget argument against Obama. I just think
isn't that what Rob Portman just did though and won the Senate race in
Ohio? He wasn't making it. It wasn't going to be a huge, high-profile class against huge thing. Bush. It would become Bush-Obama.
Right.
And that I think is problematic. I mean, though Bush is liked by a lot of Bushies, he's not liked still by the general part of the public. Yeah. And I think that to beat Barack Obama, I think you're going to need somebody with a higher degree of charisma than Mitch Daniels.
So the theory here that the anti-Obama, the appropriate person to run is somebody who says boring is the new exciting, basically. I guess that didn't work for Bill White. I mean, but the idea that charisma is overrated, maybe, and so that we're going to run a serious person, maybe that's not going to actually work for.
But I think that's it's a misread of it, because you can be a serious person and still have a high degree of charisma and connect with somebody passionately. And in an election like 2012, you're going to have to not only prove that you're capable to lead the office in a substantive, serious way, but you're also prove that you can bring enough people along in a passionate way, especially voters under 25, where Barack Obama did exceedingly well. The only way you're going to get those voters if you speak to some level of emotion and passion that they can key into. If you don't, you're going to lose them again.
Well, the assumption is that he'll get them back, or that young people and independents will return to the fold.
Yeah, and that would happen if, as we've said before, the economy improves and things go well, and they'll just automatically return. If it doesn't, then they're going to be fought over.
And if the Republicans nominate a candidate whose basis for running is emotion as opposed to reason, so if you nominate a Palin or you nominate even a Gingrich, it's going to be hard to see a lot of independents gravitate to somebody who represents that wing of the party.
Yeah, I mean, I think they would do very well, and again, in some elements of the Republican Party, but when it came time to a general election, I don't think they're going to be viewed by a big part of the public as serious and ready for prime time. You know, Sarah Palin is interesting to me, that she is somebody that ended the 2008 with some negatives, but not near what you think of her negatives are today. So she has basically spent 2 years dropping her status, increasing her celebrity status, but dropping her competency status. I think she's gone in the exact opposite direction if she wants to be considered to be a serious candidate for president. I think that in her head she thinks she can be president, and in some people around her that feed that narrative, she thinks she can be president. I don't know. You never know, with this Sarah Palin. I think that once somebody gets in their head that they can be president, it's very difficult to get it out of their head.
To get it out of your head. Yeah. I've heard you say that you thought that she could get in pretty late because her celebrity affords her the luxury of waiting until right before Iowa. Doesn't have the same, other people don't have the same benefit. But
I think the only way she could win the Republican nomination, and she has a shot, is if she got in as late as possible in a field that was a bunch of boring white guys. She gets in, and they're having trouble getting 500 people at a a truck stop in Des Moines, and she shows up and gets 5,000 people overnight, which would happen.
Would happen.
And when that happens, if you're in late enough and then they can't like vet her quickly enough or tar her, I think over the long haul she gets the bloom goes off the rose. But I think in a short-term thing where all of a sudden she drops in, she wins the caucuses, everybody goes, oh, what, a week later is New Hampshire. She either does very well or wins New Hampshire, then she goes into South Carolina, she goes to Nevada. It makes it much easier for her to do a race that's truncated than one that's elongated.
Makes it hard to stop her.
Yeah.
And that's the best possible outcome for Obama.
Yeah, I would think so. But then what that probably means if his numbers are in trouble, that meant a third-party candidate runs. Because if his numbers are seriously in trouble, the Republicans nominate a candidate that probably can't win a general election, then you get a third-party candidate likely in that scenario.
Yeah. This is all pretty great.
Yeah.
You have to come back and talk about this as it gets closer.
That'd be great. I'd love to.
Good. Matthew, thank you very much, man. Good
Thanks.
to see you. Matthew Dowd, great.
Funding for Overheard with Evan Smith is provided in part by Hilco Partners, Texas Government Affairs Consultancy, and its global healthcare consulting business unit, Hilco Health, and by the Matson McHale Foundation in support of public television, and also by MFI Foundation, improving the quality of life within our community, and also by the Alice Kleberg Reynolds Foundation. And viewers like you, thank you.